So, boys, Diego Sanchez finally came out with a statement about Joshua Fabia. I mean, it took him forever, but this is actually from him. This is not from his lawyer. So I'll just read this real quick, just in case if you guys have not seen it. It says, "To all my family, friends, fans, and the MMA community, thank you all for your continued love and support through this very challenging time in my life. I appreciate all of the defense that arose for me on behalf of my career, myself, and all of those who were involved. Thank you for those who have been sensitive to this situation. I apologize to all of those that were affected negatively. I will refrain from provoking this any longer. I refuse to fire back on accusations that in the intent were made to provoke me and those close to me." I'm already fucking up on this, but once again, my faith has taught me to love thy neighbor and love thy enemy. I wish for peace to surface moving forward. Luke 6:27-36. I will lift Josh and Rebecca up in prayers that God helps them find their peaceful awareness. In Christ, Diego Sanchez. Which, I mean, that's good that he's taking the high road here, quote unquote, but it's very easy to be nice. It's very easy to be humble in like an Instagram post, right? Which is exactly what I was hoping he wouldn't do. I was hoping he would just go on a podcast or something and just speak on this situation. Like, how do you really feel? Like, how do you really feel, bro? This is not how you really feel. This is just you fucking trying to be all Christian and nice and shit. But I know that if he sat down and actually talked about this fucking situation, that it wouldn't be all this, you know what? Peace and love. Peace and love. But hey, good for him. And I will start off by saying sorry that I missed last week's podcast because I missed talking about Joshua Fabia. I got the second COVID vaccine and I got really, really sick from it, so I had to miss the podcast, but who gives a fuck about that? So I will go through what this statement is pertaining to. So what Diego is talking about here, just in case if you didn't see it or didn't hear, Joshua Fabia, or Fabia, I forgot which one it is, and I honestly don't really care, but Joshua Fabia, he went on a podcast, and it was some, I should probably get the name here, but it was some Hollywood insider fucking bullshit. I mean, the podcast was honestly garbage, and they kind of fucked it up because they were literally bullshitting for half an hour, just talking about stupid shit, and then they had Joshua on for the other half an hour, and they cut him off like, you know, midway through his fucking craziness. So it's like we didn't even get to hear the full extent of Joshua's lies and craziness and dumbness. But I got some highlights here, or some cliff notes, because I really don't want to play portions of the podcast and get, you know, copyrighted and like shit like that. But there was a lot of crazy shit that fucking Joshua said. He said everything from that Diego was special needs in school, he had a drug problem that he was hiding, and he was a sponsor, and then all this stuff, which, let's first start off with the sponsor thing. So he's acting like Diego was trying to hide the fact that he's been an addict to multiple things. I mean, which isn't true, right? I mean, he's been very open that he's had a dark past. He's had issues with booze. He's had issues with certain drugs. And he's been open with that, and he's been open that he's trying to become clean. He's trying to make his life better. And then he, put his trust into Joshua to be his sponsor, to make sure that like he stays clean. And then what does fucking Joshua do? He goes on to this podcast, and he's just like, yeah, so he's hooked on kratom and alcohol, and he's a booze head and all this, and then I was his sponsor for like 5 months, and he can't be trusted because he's this addict and all this stuff, which is like, bro, like that couldn't be more douchey. Like, that's like, out of everything he like did here, that's probably the most douchiest thing. It's like, it's just like, how, like, what a scumbag, man. Like, this man has a problem. He recognizes that he has some problems with certain substances, and then he asks for your help to get clean. You give him help, and then you later turn that against him, that he's a bad person because he's trying to clean up his fucking life, because he's trying to get off of all these things, because he's trying to improve himself and not be drinking all the fucking time and doing weird ass shit like fucking kratom. It's just so ridiculous that he was trying to spin that as a negative thing. How is that negative? It's so stupid, dude. And Joshua, man, like, this host, which granted, the host of this podcast, I mean, they wasted the first half an hour on complete bullshit that didn't even matter, like, at all, that no one cares. But what she did do well is that she was asking him the tough questions, and she was challenging him, which was very nice. And one thing that they were bringing up is the OnlyFans shit. And they asked him, like, directly, be like, are you sexually exploiting him with this OnlyFans thing? And then fucking Joshua had the nerve to fucking be like, OnlyFans? I don't even know what you're talking about. And like, then they had to bring it up specifically to be like, you have in OnlyFans where you post things of fucking Diego and put like, fucking look at that tight butt, like in all of this weird shit. And like, and then he instantly flipped to, oh well, yeah, so like, we do have that, but you guys being in the actual media, like, you should know that we're tailoring towards a specific market. And it's like, what? It's like, that's exactly what they're saying. Like, you're exploiting him sexually, and then on top of that, you're scamming, gay guys that want to see his fucking ass, right? Like, you're saying, oh, look, that tight butt, and then you just show nothing. You just show him fucking bending over, like, and shit. And it's like, so not only are you exploiting fucking, like, you're exploiting Diego here, but on top of that, you're like trying to scam gay guys, and you said openly that that's your intention, and it's like, what? Like, that's just fucked up on a million different levels. Like, and then he just acts like, oh, it's just basic marketing. It's just marketing. It's like, this guy's a fucking dummy. And there was a bunch of other shit. Like, he said that Sanchez was in special needs classes in school. So then that instantly makes him, mentally like, well, and that he needs to get, I forgot what he said. Like, he said he needs to get checked out at like an institution or like some shit like that. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, just because you were in special needs classes, that doesn't mean, like, that really doesn't mean anything. Like, it's just like, you're trying to use this against Diego. Like, it's just so weird. It's just so weird. But I mean, but it also makes sense because he's a slippery snake. He's a fucking liar. He's a scumbag, and he got cut off. So now he's trying to attack back. He's trying to bite back, right? there was yeah, so there was more weird shit. Like they asked him specifically about the medical records, right? And what's funny is that they always say, oh, the fucking UFC has them and they're holding them hostage and blah blah blah. But then the host asked what I was saying on my fucking podcast, which is the UFC doesn't have to hold on to those fucking records, and they don't have to give them to you. That's up to the state. And the state has to give them to you when you ask. So you just have to ask the fucking state. It's as simple as fucking that. And then that's what the host said. And then he was saying that, oh, that his ex-wife had him and she was holding him hostage, like, and blah, 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 and wouldn't give him to, like, Sanchez and all of this crazy stuff. And, like, then she asked him, she was like, why didn't you ask the commissions? And, like, then he said, oh, well, I didn't have the contact, and then the fucking UFC wouldn't give us the contact, like, and all this. Like, and then she was like, yeah, but you could Google search that. I can give you the fucking numbers in 2 minutes. Which you can. I mean, every commission has contact info. They have an email, they have a phone number. You can easily contact them. They're a state agency. And then I forgot what he said, but he like said, oh, well that's good. You could give that to like I'm fucking Diego or like some shit like that. And it's like this guy's just a scam artist and just tries to take these little tiny threads and bend them and skew them and like all, and it's just insane. And like then he was also trying to say that he's a bad dad and that fucking Diego didn't want to see his kid and like all this crazy stuff. All this crazy stuff. Then on top of that, I forgot. He said that Diego got asked to throw a fight by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. And like then he got asked specifically. He got asked, did the state commission go up to you and literally say, we need you to throw this fight? And then instantly Joshua was like, whoa, I'm a fucking idiot. And he said, he was just like, well, they were asking him to not hurt him and that he's not going to, to fight with malice and he's going to be a sportsman, right? And then he said that was the commission essentially telling him to throw that fight. Which is like, no, bro. Like what he conveniently left out, that you could tell that the host of this podcast is not really like a fight fan and they just did research, but they don't know everything, right? The reason why the commission asked him that is because Joshua Fabia went up to a commissioner and said, hey, just so everyone knows, I taught Diego this move that could kill Chiesa. And I just want you guys just to be completely clear, so if anything happens, I let y'all know. And the commissioners are just like, what? You taught him a move to kill another fighter? So we have a chance of Diego killing Michael Chiesa? Like, and then that's when they went to go and talk with fucking Diego. It would just essentially like, hey, like are you gonna try to kill this guy? Like, are you gonna try to snap his fucking neck? So it's like, that's why they were asking him that, if he's going to fight, with malice, is because Joshua Fabia told them that Diego was going to kill Chiesa. Which the move that he taught him is hilarious, because it's literally a reverse Stone Cold Stunner. Like, it's a Stone Cold Stunner. It's so stupid. Like, first of all, you would never get anybody in that position ever. that the only way that you're going to get them in that spot is if they let you in, you know, a bullshit fucking demonstration or like a wrestling match. Like and then on top of that, if you did use that move and you had someone's neck on your shoulder, then you drop down to your butt, that wouldn't break their neck. That wouldn't break their neck. Like, it's so stupid. Then on top of that, if someone breaks their neck, that doesn't mean that they instantly die. So it's like just everything around that was obviously fucking stupid. And then everybody in the fight world knew that, but the commission was worried because if someone goes up to them and they're just like, hey, my fighter is gonna kill this fucking guy, and then he goes out there and actually does it, the state is kind of liable, right? So like they were kind of freaking out. And then that's when that conversation started, where they were just like, hey, fucking Diego, like, you're not gonna stone cold stunner this fucking guy, right? And it's like, it was just stupid. Like, and then he tries to flip that, you know, he conveniently leaves that part out, conveniently leaves that shit out, and then takes it as because the commission was talking to him, period, that they asked him to throw the fight. And then he pointed to that, oh, you know, we trained the entire camp to strike, but then he just tries to fucking wrestle. Like, and then he threw no strikes. Like, why is that? It's obviously because he threw. And then it's like, why is that? Because he was fighting Michael Chiesa and got his fucking ass destroyed because he was training with some fake fucking guru dummy. Like, what do you mean? Michael Chiesa destroyed Diego Sanchez. And Joshua doesn't sit back and think, oh, that's because I'm a dog shit coach. No, he fucking sits back and is just like, Diego threw. There's no way that Michael Chiesa is just a way better fighter and that fucking Diego is past his fucking prime and Chiesa is literally in his prime. It's not that, definitely. It's Diego threw. And it's fucking stupid. It's stupid. But if you try to reason with crazy, you just become crazy, right? There was like a few more things. Oh yeah, Diego being used as a punching bag by Joshua Fabia. And when I say that, that's not in some kind of fucking metaphorical sense. If you haven't seen like the fucking video, look it up. It's stupid. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It is insane. It's almost as crazy as him forcing fucking Diego to wrestle naked in a goddamn stream. It's almost up there. But anyways, what Joshua did is that he hung Diego upside down by his fucking legs, and then he just punching him in the fucking head and like kicking him, and like it was just so stupid. And like then they got asked, like, so you're saying that your fighter has brain trauma and all this, and you're trying to get his records, and you're essentially positioning to sue the fucking UFC because of said brain trauma, but yet you hang this man up upside down and just start punching him in the fucking head. Like, how does that make any sense? And then he said that it's body hardening, and which is like, so why are you punching him in the head if it's body hardening? Which is a thing. That is a thing which is why like you see guys that, you know, in like the gym and stuff, they'll just kind of just sit there and then just eat fucking body shots, because body hardening from trauma is a real thing. It's like a real thing. I mean, if you let a guy just punch you like, you know, like 15 times like a fucking day, like, you know, like your body's gonna get conditioned to eating those strikes. So it's a real thing, but it doesn't work with your head, bud. Doesn't work with your brain. I could tell you that. Fucking hanging upside down and getting punched in the face by some 5'1" like gremlin. It's like, that's That's not gonna help anybody. It's not gonna help anybody, especially fucking Diego. It's not gonna help him, man. Like, that podcast was just so ridiculous. And I was hoping Diego would come out and just, say, like, how he's feeling and what actually happened and what forced the end of this, because that's one thing that Joshua didn't say. And they were asking him, they were just like, what happened? Like, what caused this split? And then this is where he brought all this shit up that, oh, he's special needs and, like, he's an addict and all this stuff. And then one thing that Joshua said, is that Diego took advantage of him. Joshua Fabia had the nerve to say that Diego Sanchez took advantage of him. Like, what a fucking tool. Like, what a dummy McBummy, dude. That guy is a trash bag embodied. Like, my goodness. Like, this man has been taking advantage of fucking Diego for 2 years. Literally been taking 50% of his fucking money. 50%. That is ridiculous. And he actually said, just like, oh, I have gained nothing. Like, what do I have to gain from helping him? I just want to help him, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, what advantage? How about 50% of his money? Like, what are you talking about? Like, 50%, bud. But he's a slippery snake. So, you just fucking spun it as, well, I do multiple jobs. I'm not just your coach. I'm your manager. I'm your life coach. I'm your fucking dietitian, blah, blah, blah. So I need 50% of your money. It's like, bro. Please suck my pain. My goodness. This whole situation is hopefully over now. That fucking Diego is, it finally put out this fucking statement. Hopefully this will be the final chapter and the book is closed and Joshua will go and recede and go climb naked in a fucking stream and just go back into his hobbit hole. Like, this man is ridiculous. And like, I was watching this video done by BJJ Scout, and he was breaking down all of the bullshit moves that fucking Joshua does. And in that video, he breaks down the death move, right? Which is a reverse Stone Cold Stunner, pretty much. It's the stupidest thing ever. And he has all these tricks for, like, passing guard and takedowns and all this shit. And I don't know how Diego could sit through this shit and just be like, oh yeah, this fucking dude's real. It's like he's literally those fucking guys that you see on fucking videos that claim that they're black belts and they're coaches, like, and all this shit. And then they don't know anything. And then a blue belt can just go in there and fucking smoke them. Because they're liars and they're bullshitters. And I don't know what it is about fucking martial arts, but it attracts a lot of bullshitters. A lot of bullshitters. And Joshua Fabia is just in fucking line with all of those other crazy motherfuckers that... I mean, it's like less so now because a lot of people know what real fighting looks like. Like, the fucking UFC has shown the average person, like, hey, this is what elite fighting looks like. Where before, it was, it was just like Bruce Lee movies and shit like that. And then boxing, like, there was really nothing. I was like, oh, like, this is what a proper fighter should fucking look like. Like, you couldn't look at, like in Izzy, like a Jan, like an Aljo, like, like, you couldn't look at a guy like fucking that and be like, hey, this is how I'm supposed to fight. My coach is supposed to look something similar to that, and if he's not teaching me that shit, then this guy's a fucking dummy. Like, before, it was just so prevalent. There's a lot of bullshit martial arts and a lot of bullshit martial artists. And Joshua is just a modern day version of that, right? Of like these dudes who would have like fucking like kung fu in the fucking park and shit like that. Like, oh, if he hits you here, you block, then you hit him there. And it's like, doesn't work. Doesn't work in sparring, guy. Like none of that kung fu shit works. Like, well, I mean, like, I can't say none of it because some of it obviously works, right? But whenever someone's like, oh, when he moves here, I move here. When he does this, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's complete bullshit. It's complete bullshit. And that's what half of those fucking training videos are. And that's what pretty much Joshua Fabia is. He's just a bullshit artist. I mean, I've said that like 5 times, but it's true. So I think I've gone through pretty much everything that dum-dum said about Diego, which is unfortunate because one thing that I didn't say is that Joshua denied that Diego cut off any family for him, right? When literally him and fucking Diego went on a podcast and Diego literally said, he's like, I've been defending this man so much. There's people in my family that are telling me to cut him off, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to. Like, I had to cut off people in my family in Joshua's honor. Literally said that. And Joshua was sitting right there. It was just like, yeah, mm-hmm. And then now he wants to come out later, like, and just be like, no, Diego didn't cut off anybody. And it's like, yeah, you fucking dumbass, dude. It's like anytime they would try to call him out on some shit, he would just try to spin it like fucking that, or just say that like it's not true. Like the OnlyFans thing, he like at first he literally said, "What OnlyFans?" It's like, what OnlyFans? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like you've been posting like a bunch of shit. And then he was just trying to spin it as if it wasn't like a real thing. And like then he realized that, you know, that everybody knows, so then he tried to spin it that, oh yeah, that like thing. Well, that's fucking marketing. And it's like fucking dummy. That is a great fucking dummy. But whatever. I'm done with this fucking Joshua stuff, man. I'm done with it. And, I mean, I guess I could talk about what Dana has spoken, because what's good is that, you know, Dana, Hunter Campbell, like all of these guys at the fucking UFC, they love Diego, and his reputation hasn't been hurt like in their eyes like at all, and they realize that, you know, he's a douche. Like, this is what Dana had to fucking say. That guy is a fucking goofball. I mean, I don't know how anybody, seriously, if you take anything that guy says serious, you should be fucking beat with a stick. That was Dana's quote about Joshua Fabia. Like, I mean, I could give a fuck what that guy says. This is an absolute fucking goofball. That kid is mentally ill. So should I fire up the fucking lawyers for a mentally ill fucking goofball? It's just a complete waste of fucking time. So no. When he got asked if he'll try to sue Joshua, that's what fucking Dana said. Just why, you know, like, I go back and forth. Like, I have like a like fucking love hate thing with fucking Dana. But one thing that I love is that man's honest. There's no PR, you know, puff bullshit that comes out of fucking Dana's mouth. It is always real. And, you know, oh my god. If you take anything that guy says serious, you should be beat with a fucking stick. I mean, that's just fucking amazing. So yeah, so I guess we could end off the fucking Joshua Fabia shit with that, with that wonderful statement from the big fucking tomato there, fucking tomato Dana, dude. So there's also some big news, but the biggest news probably is Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. I'm sure that everybody by now has seen that. And yeah, it's fucking real, and it's happening. And let me preface this by saying that Jake Paul is a douche. I don't like Jake Paul. I don't like the way that he handles certain situations. There's allegations against him. He doesn't seem like a good fucking guy, right? He's a fucking douchebag. But I said that to say that Jake Paul has balls of steel, man. This kid had 100 people that called him out. Literally over 100 people that fucking wanted to fight this kid. Like I mean, he could have picked anybody. Like, he could have just fought fucking Dylan Dennis, murked Dylan Dennis, and then just fight some other grappler. Just fight like fucking Damian Maia or some shit. Like, and then just knock out just every grappler in the fucking UFC. But he didn't, right? He went for one of the toughest matchups that he could possibly get, which is Tyron Woodley. And he's gonna legitimately fight Tyron Woodley in his 4th pro fight. Or, like, is this his 5th? I'm not sure if it's his 4th or if it's his 5th, but... And, like, a lot of people give shit like, oh, he should fight like an actual boxer, blah, blah, blah. It's like, people, this is his 5th pro fight. And he's about to fight a former world champion. A 5-time former world champion. One of the greatest welterweights ever. And a man who's one of the most explosive men in UFC history. And has insane knockout power. And he's older, yes. But his last fight against Vicente Luque, he looked fucking crazy. He looked really good, and I apologize for the cops and shit. I'm just in the middle of the city, and it's very loud. But Tyron looked good, and Tyron looked explosive. He looked fast. He looked powerful. Like, he didn't look old like in that fight. Like, he just got cracked. And yes, he's lost 4 straight, but 3 of those he got grapple fucked, right? And this last one, Vicente, he was winning that entire fight and then just got cracked, right? So to think that, that Tyron's old, it's like, yeah, on paper, he's 39, but he's a different 39. Like, it's like the same shit. Like, yeah, Yola's like 43 or some shit. But that man is fucking explosive. He's deadly and he's ferocious. And Tyron's the same way. It's like, yeah, he's 39, but that man genetically is different. That is a fucking superhero, right? Like that, like the quads and ass on that dude is ridiculous. Like, the amount of explosiveness that fucking Tyron has is something that only elite athletes have. And that knockout power is fucking real. So it's like, for Jake, this is the scariest fight he could possibly have. And if you listen to Jake, like, Jake wants to be a boxer, right? He's using these meme fights to build himself up to eventually reach that point, right? And he wants to prove that, hey, I am a real fighter. I'm a real fighter. And I feel like there's no one better than fighting Tyron Woodley in your 4th or 5th fight. Like, that is insane. Do I think Jake will win? Probably not. I mean, if I had to guess, I mean, Tyron, like, against Vicente Luque. If the Tyron that fought Vicente Luque, which was his last fight, if that's the same Tyron that fights Jake is getting knocked out. Like, Jake has never been hit clean. And once he gets hit clean by fucking Tyron, I feel like he's going to quit probably. I mean, I'm, like, not sure. We haven't seen Jake tested yet. Like, we don't know if he's about that fucking life, right? That it's easy. It's not easy, but knocking dudes out doesn't test your will, like, at all, right? Only when you get rocked, when you get pushed, when you're insanely tired and keep on fighting, that's when your will gets really pushed. And then that's when it shows, are you a real fighter? Like, just because you go out there and knock out tuna cans, which Ben Askren is not, but Ben Askren is no boxer by any means. So, and then that's the best guy that he's fought. So he's taking a giant leap, going from Ben Askren, who cannot box. I mean, I love Ben. He's an amazing fighter. He's one of the best wrestlers to ever grace the fucking cage. And I have nothing but respect for Ben. The run that he had in Bellator was insane, man. I mean, he dominated guys like Douglas Lima and made them look shitty. And then you could see now just how good fucking Douglas Lima is. And Ben Askren dominated him. He destroyed him, right? So it's like Ben Askren was a fucking beast. But he's no boxer by any means. By any means. So going from Ben, who's not a fucking boxer, to Tyron Woodley, who is. I mean, Tyron Woodley is a boxer wrestler. And his wrestling is amazing, but his boxing is really, really good too. He is a good fucking boxer. And he's explosive. He's powerful. He's fast. I mean, this is a super tough fight. It's a giant step up. And I give Jake all the fucking credit, man. Because he didn't have to do this fight, right? That there's a lot of fights that Jake Paul could have done and he probably would have won. Like if he fought fucking Dylan Danis. Right? I mean, me personally, I felt like that was the next fight. That makes like the most sense. Just fight fucking Dylan Danis. Just smoke Dylan Danis and then, and then fight someone after that, like Mike Perry or someone like that. But no, he's fighting Tyron Woodley, which, holy shit, man, which I don't like Jake. There's a lot of people that don't like Jake, but you can't not give this kid props, man. I mean, he legitimately wants to be a fighter. He legitimately wants to prove that he is fucking good, and there's no better way than fucking fighting Tyron. And I guess we could talk about that this weekend is Logan Paul versus Floyd, and there were some weird things that came out about the rules of that fight. So it's an 8-round fight, which is pretty standard for like a meme fight. But what's kind of weird is that they're wearing 12-ounce gloves, which are like those big old goofy sparring gloves. Like, those aren't real boxing gloves. Real boxing gloves are 8, and they're fighting with 12 ounces. Like, not 8 ounces, 12 ounces. So they're going to have these big old fucking pillows. And on top of that, there will be no winner, and there will be no judges. So there will be no scoring, and there will be no winner, and a winner will not be announced in the fight. But there will be knockouts. Which, how does that make sense? So there's no judges. There will be no one that wins, but yet someone can get knocked out. So what if Floyd knocks out fucking Logan? So did Floyd not win that fight? Like, just weird fucky shit. Which is why I give a lot of props to Jake, because Jake is having real fucking boxing matches, and and then Logan's off doing this stupid shit where he's having an exhibition, which I feel like they had to do that because no commission would sanction this fight. A boxer who's never won, which let's keep that in like fucking mind, that Logan Paul has never won a fucking fight, to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure he's only fought KSI, and then KSI won once, and then the first or second fight was a draw. Like, I forgot which was which. I want to say the first fight was a draw, then KSI won the second fight. I forgot. It was a stupid meme fight. I just blanked it out of my fucking mind. But yeah. So no commission would take a boxer who's never won versus the greatest boxer ever, who's 50-0. It's crazy. But Logan will be a lot bigger. A lot bigger. And I saw some fucking people just like, oh, what if, Paul, like, knocks him out or some shit, or, like, beats Floyd? It's like, let me tell you, bud. When the skill is this, this vast, then on top of that, you pissed off Floyd and you made him mad, like, Logan has 0% chance to, like, win this fight. Now, will Floyd knock him out? I mean, who fucking knows? But I feel like he's probably gonna piece him up, man. No, he's almost certainly gonna fucking piece him up, and we'll see if he like knocks him out. It's just a stupid meme fight, and then the first card of that night is Chad Ochocinco, who I guess is going back to Chad Johnson. He's not Ochocinco now. I don't fucking know. I mean, but he was, for y'all who don't know who that is, he was an NFL wide receiver for years, and he was really, really good. He was always top 5 in the fucking league for like a decade, right? I mean, that dude had a lot of skills. Yeah, played for the Bengals. I think he played for the Patriots for a season. He played, I forgot. I think he played for Denver first. I mean, I forgot what teams he played for, but he played for the Bengals for a while. And now he's making his boxing debut, like, against like an actual fighter. But it's against a boxer who's like 0-3 in boxing or some shit like that, and he's an MMA guy. He's like 2-3, so it's like, I mean, he's definitely fighting like a real fighter, but this is not really that good. I mean, like his last fight, I watched his last fight, and like, I don't want to really talk shit like about guys who get in that ring. They do the training, they have the balls to step up and actually fight. Something I personally wouldn't do, just mainly because I don't want to risk my body. Like, I don't want to get head fucking trauma. Like, I don't want to get fucking bisbinged and lose a goddamn eye. So I have respect for those guys that put themselves out there, and a chance to compete, to show that like they're good, but anyways, I said all that to pretty much say that this guy got hit with nothing and fell down, right? He got hit with nothing and just went down to a fucking knee, and then the fight was like called off. So but hey, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that I would do any different, but so Chad Johnson is fighting on that, or Ochocinco. I don't know which one he's, like, on the card he's listed as Johnson. Just, man, has gone by Ochocinco for like a decade, so like, I don't know what I fucking missed. So it's just stupid. This Sunday is just, and it's Sunday, like, it's not Saturday, it's Sunday, which is weird. What's up with boxing, people? Like, fucking boxing is just dog shit now. Like, boxing is a dog shit. Uh, like, we have Tyson Fury fighting Deontay Wilder for the third time because of contractual shit. Right? When everyone wants to see Deontay versus not Deontay, fucking Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. That's what everybody wants to fucking see, but now it's Tyson Fury, versus fucking Deontay Wilder. Well, it's stupid. And then Joshua's gonna go off and face Usyk, who Alexander Usyk, that guy's a fucking beast, and I love him. So it sucks that we can't see Tyson versus versus Anthony, but Alexander Usyk versus Joshua, that is going to be a great fight, and I think Usyk is fucking really dangerous, and he could beat Joshua and completely sidetrack all of these plans for a Tyson Fury Joshua fight. And then also Deontay. I mean, Deontay got beat up in that last fight pretty bad. But I mean, let's not, forget that Deontay knocked Tyson Fury out in the first fight. Granted, Tyson Fury got back up before the fucking 10 count and came back and won that fucking round. But Tyson Fury was knocked out. That man was knocked out for a couple seconds. Never seen anything like it. This man gets KO'd mid fucking fight, gets back up like a fucking zombie, and then wins the rest of the fight. Insane, man. Fucking Tyson Fury is something else. But that's something that fucking happened. I mean, Deontay KO'd him, definitely. So, I mean, that can happen, man. I mean, fucking Deontay he just has power that makes up for his lack of boxing skills. I mean, he's a skilled boxer, but he's obviously not as skilled as Tyson Fury. And I mean, there's been a lot of guys that, what comes to my mind is he fought I think it's Spolka, right? I think it's Spolka. I forgot what that guy's name was, but it was that fucking Polish dude. That guy was beating fucking Deontay that entire match. Slipped up for a second, got brutally knocked out. So to think that Deontay couldn't do that to Tyson is naive, and Deontay could easily fucking knock Tyson Fury out because he's already done it. He's already done it. So that's that. Boxing is a goddamn fucking mess. All of the fights that we want to actually see just gets muddled with all these random belts and these forced fights that you have to do because of a certain belt and stipulations and contracts. Oh, if you lose, I get to fight you, blah blah blah, and it's just fucking stupid. It's stupid, and then the fans lose because we don't get the fights that we actually want to fucking see, and then boxing just goes down the fucking drain to the point where your biggest star in boxing right now is Jake Paul, a fucking YouTuber. How insane is that? The guy who sold the most pay-per-views this year is Jake Paul. He outsold Canelo. How insane is that? The greatest boxer on earth right now, Canelo, and Jake Paul, a YouTuber who knocks out Ben Askren and has Justin Bieber singing. That was the biggest fucking pay-per-view. That's how dog shit boxing is, people. It's just gone down the goddamn drain. We're so far from the days of Tyson and Holyfield and and fucking Roy, Jones and guys like that. We're so far from that. and it sucks. And it sucks, but hey, it is what it is. Like, I mean, these meme fights are dumb, but I do like them. I mean, I like the fucking spectacle. I just like the fact of, like, oh, will this guy get his fucking ass beat? Will Jake Paul get his ass beat, or will he fight decently, right? Like, you know, that question right there is worth a lot of money, and people will fucking pay it. All right, so I feel like I've just been rambling for a while. That's pretty much like the big news. And I mean, also one like thing, like, I guess we could end off on like this, but I mean, I've said this a million times, and Jones confirms that, you know, he said that he's sitting out for a year because gaining weight has been harder than what he's thought, right? Which I say, pretty kinda like convenient there, man. Convenient that you're about to sit out a fucking year when Dana White said that Derek Lewis is fucking next, and then after that is Stipe, and that if Jones doesn't come fucking down, that he just won't fight. And then suddenly Jones, who right now is 245 pounds, says that he's having a hard time gaining weight. It's like, bro, you're fucking 245. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking? Like, and then everyone's just believing him. It's like, what? This man lies about everything. You just think that he's telling the fucking truth here. Oh, you know, I'm having such a hard fucking time. It's like, no, you're not. I could see by, like, your Instagram shit, dude. You're fucking gigantic. You're gigantic. You're 245 pounds. Like, get the fuck out of here. Shut the fuck up. You just fucking know that right now the fight's dead, that you can't get what you currently want, so you're just going to sit out for that year, and then hopefully the interest will build, and then you'll get what you actually want. I honestly think that that's why he's actually sitting out, not the fact that he can't gain weight when this man is already 245 fucking pounds. Like, I mean, come on. Like, come on, people. Like, don't believe everything that this dumb has to fucking say. Like, because half of the shit that comes from his mouth is just lies. It's just lies and bullshit. He's a bullshitter through and through, and this is just another piece of fucking bullshit. So it's like you can't just post pictures where you're 245, jacked, fucking huge, and then the next day be like, yeah, so I'm gonna sit out because I can't gain weight. It's like, what the fuck, are you trying to get to like 270? Like, what are you talking about? Fucking dumb. Just stupid. So yeah, so that Jones fight versus Francis, I mean, there's a chance that it may never happen. That it may be like GSP and Silva, like back in the fucking day, where, you know, for a bunch of different it was obviously for a lot different reasons than what's happening now, but what happened then is that they never did it. They pushed it off. Okay, you know, we'll eventually do it. And, like, then they said, all right, the next fight, GSP, Anderson Silva, let's fucking get it. And then Chris Weidman knocks him out and then ruins everything. And with this Francis and Jones thing, that could easily happen. Because Derek Lewis is a goddamn fucking beast. And if people think that Derek Lewis can't knock out Francis, like, you're out of your fucking mind. You are out of your mind. Derek Lewis is one of the most dangerous guys that Francis will face. I can guarantee you that. And then on top of that, he has to face Stipe, who he's already lost to. So right there are two extremely tough fights that Francis has to win. And then hopefully they can work some shit out. Excuse me. With Jones down the fucking line where eventually they fucking fight. It's like, so there's a lot of shit that can go wrong here and completely ruin this fight. Which, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I obviously want to see this, but I don't like Jones, man. Jones is a fucking douchebag through and through. He's a liar. He's a steroid user. I mean, he's a cheater. I like. I mean, this is not somebody that I want to represent us in this sport, like in any way, shape, or fucking form. Right? It's like he puts on this face that he's some, he's this Christian guy, blah blah blah, but he's not a good guy. He uses steroids. In every single one of his fights, he finds ways to fucking cheat. I mean, he pokes guys in the fucking eyes, dude. Does like a lot of suspect moves that are borderline fucking legal, like fucking Glover when he wrenched his arm in the clinch and like shit like that. Like there's just certain things that it's like in the cage is extremely dirty. Outside, he cheats on his fucking wife. He crashes cars fucking drunkenly. He's shooting guns from like his parked fucking car. He's doing coke. He's doing steroids. Like it's like this is not the man that you want to be representing our fucking sport. So it's like I don't like Jones, and I don't really care if he doesn't get this fight. But on the other end, I would like to see Jones versus Francis. So I'm kind of torn here. So we shall see how this happens. But Dana White officially said that the next fight is Derek Lewis. That there's 0% chance now that Jones will get that next fight, and that Francis and Derek will fight probably in August. So we shall see. We shall see what happens with this. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it that I could, and like I didn't have a chance to say, but Paul Felder, he stopped fighting, and like he hung up the gloves when, to be completely real, he didn't necessarily have to. He still has a lot of fight left, but I think it's good, and guys should do it more often. And then that's what Paul Felder like actually said. He was just like, I wish that more guys would do this, because it's way better to stop fighting too early than too late. I mean, look at like BJ Penn, man. I mean, that shit's just sad. That's sad, and that's a man that should have stopped fighting, 6-7 years before he actually stops, right? So, and yeah, and so I hope Paul, has a successful post-fight, life as a commentator, and he does an amazing job. And I've literally watched Paul since his first fucking UFC fight and his entire career, and every fight in the fucking middle. I mean, he's one of the toughest guys in UFC history, and I'm not just saying that to like fucking say that, man. I mean that this man was getting lit up by Edson Barboza. It was just walking forward. You could just see him just grimacing like, oh fuck, and just walking forward. Like, that is insane, man. And I mean, that dude has some gigantic fucking balls. So I have a lot of props for Paul, and then I wish him the best. And I'll end the podcast on that. As I said before, I'm sorry for missing last week. I was sick, and I was thinking about putting out mid week, but then I was like, fuck it, I'll just stick to my days on Friday. So yeah, so that is that, and I love you all. Enjoy the fights this week. It's Jairzinho against Augusto Sakai. So I mean, should be a decent fight. So enjoy those fights, and enjoy the Paul versus fucking versus fucking Floyd Mayweather. That nonsense. So watch those. Have a great weekend. Have a great week, and I will talk to you guys next Friday. I love you guys. Deuces.